Hey, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm bringing you a brand new series. This is my F1 22 My Team playthrough for this year's game. Hopefully this will run for, probably I'd say once a week for the whole year, until obviously inevitably F1 23 gets released. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. Just a heads up as well, a few of my clips got corrupted, so you won't actually see me naming my team or picking my driver, my engine, etc. But just kind of fill you in, obviously the team's called YouTube Motorsports. We are running a Red Bull engine, so the Red Bull powertrains I believe they're called, and our teammate is Marcus Armstrong. You will see the car reveal, and then we'll kind of just, discuss what happened before getting into the intro for the main event, which is the race, obviously. You won't actually see my qualifying either because for some reason that clip corrupted. But who knows, let's just, get into it and see how the first race of the season went. So for this year's car, the YM01, we went with a matte black with a metallic green kind of highlight to it. Awesome livery, really does pop. And yeah, let's see kind of where we're at when it comes to round one. So basically, yeah, this is kind of what happened. This is some practice gameplay. It basically went a nightmare, and so did qualifying. I believe we qualified P21 and our teammate around about P17 or P15. So already getting outperformed, really struggling to get to grips with the car. So let's get into the intro to the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, George Russell and Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Ocon and Kevin Magnussen, Gasly, Tsunoda, Daniel Ricciardo and Joe, Vettel, Armstrong, Alex Albon and Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Latifi, the Rainmaster, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as once again we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. And they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to...
Right then, the formation lap is underway here in Bahrain, where the circuit is located in the middle of sand dunes and offers near desert conditions. Let's hope we see some scorching action on track today too. So as all the cars take their positions on the grid, the teams will be hoping their strategies pay off for them in today's race. The question I'm asking is which teams have got it right, which ones have got it horribly wrong?
So here we are then, obviously race one, round one. We've got Charles Leclerc on pole with Max Verstappen in second. Basically the Ferraris and the Red Bulls mixing it up, and then the Mercedes. So yeah, as you can see, for us personally, we started 21st, got a really poor start. Basically, we have just had a nightmare few sessions, practice, just not being able to get the right setup. Basically the car had to have added downforce to it, because if I didn't, the car was basically awful through the corners, losing its back end constantly. Just a really tough car to drive, so I had to add more downforce on, which then kind of leaves us very vulnerable down some of these big straights at Bahrain. Straight away though, we're up, up 2 positions after dropping back to 22nd. This was kind of my moment to really try and push a little bit up the field. I know I'm kind of lacking power overall compared to pretty much anything on the grid. Yes, we've got the Red Bull powertrain's engine in the back, but still, just with that extra downforce, I was just pretty much nowhere on the straights. Even the Williams just flying off, Aston Martin's flying past me and such. Just a bit of a nightmare start really, but massively getting outperformed by my teammate. As you can see, already up to P11, so an awesome start for him. We're just going to check in with him, and as you can see, he's just kind of cruising around, already getting himself up into P11 like I said. So very, very good start by him. I feel like I've really picked hopefully a strong teammate for this kind of this first season or first half of the season. Who knows what he'll want to do. Hopefully we can keep him signed on if if he really does push out the results. We'll obviously want to keep him with the team and develop him. And yeah, kind of hope for the best really with him. Like I said, I mean, first impressions, he out-qualified me. Obviously it's a difficult, kind of sluggish and slow car to really get to grips with. Absolutely no cornering speed in it whatsoever, to the point where obviously I've had to take a different setup, but he seems to be able to kind of hold off with that setup of having less downforce. He seemed pretty quick in the straight, so I'm assuming he's not had to add any more extra downforce. And as you can see, he's up into the points already, so by lap 2 and he's in P10. Awesome driving by him. So let's go and check back with myself, and I'm pretty much going to end up with in a bit of a battle with Latifi for a couple of laps here. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating because no matter how hard I pushed, as you can see, Bottas trying to get me up the inside there, not pulling it straight off. We've obviously not got DRS yet, and I was kind of hoping that obviously if I maybe follow Latifi around until maybe the next lap, that I'd kind of be able to close up with DRS, but I had no such luck. So even with DRS open, I was still dropping back. Really not what I wanted to do, but obviously I just could not get to grips with this car when I had sort of a less downforce setup on and more straight line speed. So I've really kind of punished myself there. As Latifi locks up and it looks like we may be able to get a run. Let's see. So we're just going to follow him all the way down this straight here, hopefully sit in that slipstream. Obviously very, very close gap, but it's starting to go up. So even in the slipstream, I'm just not catching. Obviously all these cars must have a lot less downforce than myself. As you can see, Valtteri Bottas and Lance Stroll battling it out here. Kind of at the start, these pair really kind of dropped back from myself, but soon enough they were kind of up there. As Marcus Armstrong now looks like he's getting a bit of a gap on Kevin Magnussen, so hopefully he can kind of pull that gap out a bit, and then when it comes to the pit stop, he's got enough of a gap, so even if things go a little bit wrong and it's not the quickest pit stop, he can kind of still keep that last points place. Very, very strong showing from him. Honestly, no complaints in any of his driving. My lap, I just felt like in qualifying I was really on the edge, really struggling to get to grips with this this car. But yeah, Marcus Armstrong really kind of taking to it like a duck to water. No complaints there. Like I said, I mean, if this is how he's going to drive all season, then I really just cannot wait. Obviously at the start I could have chose either the Renault or the Red Bull powertrains. The Renault engine seems very off the pace, so I kind of thought let's put the Red Bull engine in, and obviously sadly with the extra downforce I'm not really able to take advantage of it like some of these other drivers are. As you see, we've got Charles Leclerc leading Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, and then Sergio Perez, who is a little bit back from the first 3. So yeah, very pretty close fight here. Obviously DRS is enabled now, so Verstappen looking to use that, and Sainz basically using it against Verstappen. So yeah, as you can see, Charles Leclerc kind of holding on to the lead in these early stages, as Bottas now up to 19th. So after starting at the back, so I don't know if he had a problem or what in qualifying. That car shouldn't really be there. As you can see, his teammate Zhou is up in 12th, so no idea what happened there to Valtteri Bottas. But he's kind of making his way back up the grid, so I'm pretty sure he's going to keep pushing, keep going. And I'm still kind of stuck behind Nicholas Latifi here. getting very, very frustrated. As you can see, when it comes to the tighter sections, I'm really starting to catch him. I'm really feeling like, you know, maybe I can get on the back of him, but then when I get on the back of him, it just felt like there was just another straight, and that's when obviously you can see here where we're going to kind of lose out, obviously with DRS kicking in, and I'm still not catching, and Lance Stroll seems to be catching me, even with the DRS open. So as you can see through this sector, this is where we're going to really gain some time. I'm going to get right on the back of him, and then sadly it's just onto another straight. There's no DRS on this straight, so it's all about slipstream. I'm going to try and get up the inside, and I'm just going to pull back in the slipstream to kind of, you know, tow me along and kind of hope for the best. As Latifi goes defensive, we're going to try and go on the outside, maybe cut back, as Latifi for some reason just slams his brakes on there. So I don't know if I actually had any, you know, little bits of damage to the car there. But yeah, very lucky to kind of not lose major bits of the wing, even if we did take a tiny bit of damage, and that's kind of let Lance Stroll move up past us here. So very frustrating. I'm just feeling like every time I'm about to take advantage of, you know, a move I can make, I'm just somehow punished, or just like I said, just lack of pace really punishing me. So I'm just kind of, you know, sat at the back of the grid here. So let's go check back in with our teammate, and he's got a huge gap now to, well, the rest of the field, because it's a freeway battle here, and they're kind of slowing each other up. Yuki Tsunoda, Zoe and Magnussen. So Marcus Armstrong managing to, you know, kind of pull away, and it looks like Tsunoda's going to get the better of everybody there, and he runs wide. So he's going to have to basically make a few positions up here as he goes tumbling down the order. So this grid still quite close. It's very, well, it kind of looks like the slightest upgrade to your car is going to make all the difference, really, between points and no points. So just how quick he tumbled down the order there, just from a slight off, as he's now side by side with Lance Stroll. Obviously, I'm trying to kind of keep on the back of them, hoping that I can maybe, you know, pinch a bit of a slipstream here. And it looks like Tsunoda's going to just take it. Is he? Yes, maybe. Obviously, one Mercedes power, one with the Red Bull powertrain, and it's looking like Stroll just got the extra straight line speed, as Tsunoda's on the inside line again. Looking like he's going to keep it this time, but obviously DRS is a thing, as we're now riding right on the back of the pair here, just battling away. Obviously managing to get some DRS as some of the cars start to pit. As you can see, we've got Perez, Hamilton, Alonso, Norris and Magnussen pitting. This has now moved my teammate up to P5, so awesome for him, as Max Verstappen's also took the lead, because I believe, yeah, Charles Leclerc's pitted in. So yeah, he's already got a major gap for the fact that we didn't even overtake him in the pit. So he's down in 14th now. It's not because he's had an accident or anything. I think he's just pitted. Yeah, as you can see, he's just up there. So we're up past Tsunoda now, and we are right on the back of Stroll. Kind of wanted to make a move. I'm going to try and go around the outside and maybe get the cut back on him. But are we going to be able to pull it off? No, it's not looking likely, is it? As you can see, just major acceleration coming out of these cars, and I'm just really lacking it. So even with the downforce, as soon as we get on a bit of a straight surface, I'm just dropping back. As there you go, Charles Leclerc's making his way back up through the grid as he gets himself past Nicholas Latifi. So we are still, well, we're up in P16, which is obviously our best bit so far, but obviously that's mostly down to pit stops. So essentially last in this race is Tsunoda, myself, and then obviously we've got Stroll and Latifi, who looks pretty much clear of everybody now. So after his little brake check, yeah, we're kind of dropping back, because Vettel looking like he's having a little battle with Latifi here, and there's Stroll going through. So yeah, it's pretty close. Like, it's really close in the field, apart from obviously the first few cars just seem to be flying, as we're going to try and jump Lance Stroll into the pits, but it's just not worth it. We've kind of ended up tucked in behind him. So hoping for a decent pit stop here, and hopefully we can maybe jump in, as Armstrong is up to second now, so he's going a little bit longer than myself. So obviously he must be managing his tyres very well. So we're now in P20, and we've managed to jump him. So that pit stop kind of helping us get an extra position. I know we're not really fighting for points here, but every position matters when it comes to obviously getting that income in for the team, and, you know, getting them sponsors in fast enough to kind of fund the upgrades and such, especially to facilities, because that's kind of what we're going to need to do, is really focus on some downforce and aero chassis upgrades, you know, in the coming races, so we can kind of hopefully run a bit of a quicker straight line setup, and obviously not have to add too much downforce, you know, to basically obviously keep up on the straights, because some of these tracks are very, very quick now. So Armstrong just cruising around in P2. He's got a 3-second gap to Zoe here, so he's doing very, very well. Cannot absolutely pick fault with him here. He's doing absolutely amazing, amazing job. As you can see, Carlos Sainz going around again, so he's in P1 currently. So we've obviously got Stroll right on the back of us here. DRS open. We have got DRS on, by the look of it, Bottas. As Albon looks to have a, you know, maybe he's had an off there, because he has now dropped down to 22nd. So looking like he's had a bit of a slip there somehow, as Marcus Armstrong is now taking his one and only pit stop of this race, putting the medium tyres on. Very good pit stop, so I cannot fault my pit team at all this weekend. No mistakes, thankfully. And where's he going to come out? He's going to keep P10, is he? Yes, he is. So he's managed to keep P10, keep himself ahead with a nice healthy gap. So hopefully now it's all up to him just to put the work in, and hopefully secure some points on debut for himself and the team, as Zoe now over 4 seconds back. So yeah, that quick little pit stop, managing to keep him out in front and, you know, extend that gap. As we are now up to P19 and we've moved past Stroll, we're now battling with Daniel Ricciardo. So the McLaren kind of lacking a bit of pace as well. I could say that it looks like Ricciardo's just kind of lacking the pace, as we're side by side. Gone a bit wide there, not much room to get through. But we're up to P18 now, and we're chasing down Latifi. So it's looking like this car's acting a lot better. As we get down the inside of 2 of them there, looking like we're maybe past Vettel and Latifi. So, oh no, Vettel's just going to squeeze through. And Latifi looks like he's going through too, is he? Yes, yeah, he's through. So we thought we were up another 2 positions there, getting ourselves into P16 for a split second. Just going to DRS down there. So obviously, like I said, I mean, it's just a straight where we're lacking anything really. Through them tighter sections, I'm really able to kind of brake late. But what was I saying? Basically, it seems like this car is kind of reacting better to the medium tyre than it does the soft. This car does not seem to like the soft tyre. It seems like we're able to pick up a better, you know, race pace on these mediums. So I don't know what's going on there. Definitely a weird feeling to the tyres in, you know, in the game this year. Is that Vettel? Vettel now brake checking us. So I don't know what happened there. We're going to get DRS, and it's looking like, yeah, Ricciardo's gone past. So again, that you know, that lack of speed on the straight is really punishing us, as we're pretty much in a train here. And Stroll's going to go down the inside. Oof, very, very close there. So we're going to get another run here, as Stroll kind of cuts off Ricciardo a bit there. We're going to hopefully try and get alongside him. Is it going to happen? Sonoda now joining in this battle, and it looks like someone locked up there, possibly Sonoda. Yeah, so yeah, we're not quite side by side as last time, but you know, back down to P20. So at one point we're P16, a lap later we're in P20. As we're going to try and go around the outside of Ricciardo here. Oh, we're going to make it stick. Yes, we're through. So thankfully we are still kind of, you know, battling it out. It looks like there's a bit of a chip in the wing there. So we must have made contact at some point. I don't know if we've just made that or what. But yeah, so it looks like the mediums are really, really good on this car, working well. I'm able to, you know, battle a lot more full on than I was on the softs, where the soft tyres are pretty much just stuck there. The mediums are allowing me to kind of come into play and take, by the look of it, take more advantage of that downforce. Like I said, no matter what, I'm going to be slower on the straights. But really, you know, managing to make these medium tyres work, you know, we're a lot more involved now. As Armstrong, again, just a note to him, is still up in P10 with a, 2.3 second gap. So we're basically following the 2 Aston Martins here. Looking like Vettel's got he's got a pretty comfortable gap to his teammate. So we're going to use DRS and try and get him down the straight, but obviously it's just not going to, you know, come off. As we've got Zoe and Magnussen having a battle here, and another Haas, so that's Schumacher also trying to get himself involved. So a nice little battle going on there. There's Marcus Armstrong, 2.1 second gap, so that gap is going down. Ocon is kind of pushing now. Hopefully, this is 4 laps left of this race, so I'm hoping Armstrong can kind of keep that gap. As you can see, there's Ocon looking like he's on a charge. The Alpine actually quite quick. It's definitely not a slacker of a car. It's very, very quick, especially compared to obviously the machinery we've got. As you can see, 2 attempts, their gap has gone down just since we've been mentioning it. I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm hoping and praying he can kind of hold on. Obviously, when I'm actually doing the race, I'm not paying too much attention, really, to what's going on with him. But obviously, yeah, I'm kind of hoping he's going to hold this on and give us some points on the board as Leclerc goes up past Sainz as well. Just noticed that. So we are now still past Ricciardo and still on the back of Lance Stroll. He's basically been a thorn in our side for this whole race. What between him and Latifi? Yeah, Canada's kind of doing me dirty here. Shout out to any Canadians that do watch this channel. But yeah. So we're kind of just getting stuck there because no matter how close we get through them down, as he's ran wide, so finally, as I'm just about to say, he's just pulling on us on the straights. He's going to make a mistake, and that's going to cost him, by the look of it, 2 positions here. As Ricciardo going side by side, you can see the absolute lack of speed I've got on the straights. Ricciardo now doing 2 in 1 with Stroll, pretty much bouncing back from that instantly. The little lock up. But we're going to be side by side with Danny Ricciardo here. Straight up there, both DRS open. So this is pretty insane. As what we're going to do, we're going to try and keep it round the outside, are we? Go get the cut back. We're going to keep it round the outside as we're still side by side here. So this is absolutely insane. And he's going to back out of it. We're going to get him round the outside and up into P18. So looking much chirpier now. As we're really starting to push, as you can see, look how close this group of cars is. And yeah, that's pretty much up to last place. So yeah, the slightest little mistake and it's going to cost pretty much anyone, a bunch of positions. I know there's no points on offer really up this end of the grid, but every position really counts in F1, especially for them upgrades and obviously being able to attract better drivers to the team. As you can see, Ocon now less than a second that gap. So within a lap, he's taking about a second a lap off of Armstrong here. So I don't know if it's because Armstrong's just feeling weaker on these tyres or what. I don't know if it's the opposite to me. I'm feeling much better on the mediums compared to the softs. But kind of really showing just how off the pace this car really is going to be in this kind of opening stage. We're basically, I guess, the Williams from 2019 at this point. But who knows? As you can see, Ocon is just, he's got DRS now. So it's not looking good for this final points position. I'm hoping and praying maybe a little lock-up or a mistake, and Ocon will have to, stay in P11. As again, we're side by side with Ricciardo. So it's all going off here as we've got DRS and he hasn't. So look at the speed difference. Even without DRS, he's managing to get on the outside of us, and we're just going to, make sure he can't go all the way around. And we're going to, keep on pushing. P18. I'm not thinking we're really going to catch Vettel here. He's got a decent gap. So it's all about kind of, keeping that position and just hoping we can kind of, pull on through to the end because, anything but last is a decent result this early while we're still getting used to the car. But, there we go. Massive slip, and it's basically just bottled us back to the, back end of the grid. Do you know what? First weekend in F1 with this new team, these new regulations of cars, and this is how it goes. So do you know what? It's just an awful feeling. I think, when I came to realise how good Armstrong had done for this whole race, as Ocon, Ocon's going to make the move, is he? Oh, it's looking like it. Yeah, he's cleared him there. Sadly, out of the points, both cars now. But honestly, a quality drive by Armstrong. I mean, look at the gap he's got to Magnussen there, who's the next position back. 7-second gap. There's Magnussen in the background. So yeah, I mean, honestly, for a first weekend with these new cars, and when I look back at this replay and realised just how good Armstrong had done, yeah, it kind of felt like a kick in the teeth. I just did not know why I was struggling to get to grips with this car. Obviously, in 2020 and 21, when I did my team, I pretty much took to the car like a duck to water. But this time, just anything that could have gone wrong went wrong. From practice through to quali, through to the race, obviously, that previous lap, everything just went wrong. this weekend. Obviously having to change setup last minute before quali, you know, after realising just how poor the car was through the corners. Just really, you know, hurting me really. So even when I had DRS, it just was not going to plan. So it's looking like we're going to try and get up past, you know, Alexander Albon here. But again, even with DRS open, we're just falling back. So we're not really knowing what's going to go off here. Obviously, this is a sector I'm quicker in. But yeah, I mean, everything that could have gone wrong this weekend just kind of went wrong. And that's just the way it's been. So I am hoping for a bit of an improvement next time out in Saudi Arabia. So who knows there's we're going to battling out to try and get 21st place. Just imagine that awful feeling. But we are open through past Albon there. I don't know if he had a little lock up because he's already dropped to a second by no contact made. So who knows there, looking like he maybe locked up a bit. The Williams looking like a bit of a handful, but Latifi seems to be doing alright in it in P16. So yeah. As we're going on to the last lap, I'm just feeling really kind of like deflated at this point. Just feeling like, what am I going to do to kind of bring this car back? You know, we've obviously started as a back marker, but we do kind of want to get the upgrades in so we can, you know, possibly sneak a few points throughout the season. You know, with both drivers, not just myself. I want my teammate to do well. And, you know, maybe just get that extra little bit of prize money at the end of the year. But who knows? As Max Verstappen's going to hold off Charles Leclerc and take the win from round one. So we've got Leclerc second. So obviously, I mean, these two looking like they're going to battle it out for the year. But then Perez, Carlos Sainz dropping back a bit there because Hamilton's took P4. So yeah, not a bad result for that Mercedes. Carlos Sainz in P5. Then we've obviously got Russell in P6. Pretty average result for him. Alonso, good result for Alpine. Pierre Gasly looking like he's doing the work for AlphaTauri, so good result for him. Going through in P8. Lando Norris in P9, and Ocon's going to take that final point away from my teammate, sadly. We've got Marcus Armstrong in P11. Very good result for him on his first time out. Kevin Magnussen coming up 12th. Valtteri Bottas 13th. Zoe 14th and Schumacher 15th. Nicholas Latifi taking up P16. Vettel P17. And it's looking in the air. Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Stroll, myself, and then Alexander Albon. So that is going to be, you know, pretty much it. Obviously, I'll talk about the points table. I'm going to do, obviously, let the podium, you know, ceremony and that play out, and then we'll talk about the points positionings.
What a superb victory. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. It just looks so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
So thank you so much for watching episode 1 of my team for this year. Hopefully I can make more of these. So here is your standings after round 1. We've got Verstappen leading away with a fastest lap extra point as well. So Red Bull leading the constructors from Ferrari, Mercedes, Alpine, AlphaTauri, McLaren, myself, Haas, Alfa Romeo and Williams, and Aston Martin getting no points. So yeah, thanks for so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment, and I'll hopefully see you in episode 2.